everyone, and welcome back to Explorion, the place where we deep dive into intriguing psychological mysteries. Today we have a particularly unsettling case to discuss, the Lucy Letby Nurse case. This case has captivated the world's attention not only for its shocking nature, but also for the complex psychological factors at play. So let's explore the case and wider aspects on the psychology of offender profiling. Let's start with a brief background on the Lucy Letby case before moving on to offender profiling and greater case detail. Lucy Letby, a pediatric nurse in the UK, was arrested in connection with the deaths of several infants at the Countess of Chester Hospital. One of the most challenging questions in cases like these is why? What motivates someone to harm vulnerable infants in their care? Experts in criminal psychology suggest that motives in such cases can range from a desire for attention, power, or even a misguided sense of mercy. Lucy Letby's case raises questions about her background, her motivations, and the psychological factors that may have contributed to her alleged actions. Letby was arrested in July 2018 and again in June 2019 on suspicion of murdering 8 babies and attempting to murder 6 others. In August 2023, Letby was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order for the murder of 7 infants and attempting murder of 6 others. The investigation into Letby's alleged actions began in 2017, focusing on a period between June 2015 and June 2016. The allegations centre around the neonatal unit at the hospital, where Letby worked as a nurse. Now let's discuss offender profiling, which Douglas et al. In 1986 defines as the identification of major personality and behavioural characteristics of an individual based on an analysis of the crimes they have committed. And Jackson et al. In 1994 defines as a mixture of operational experience with similar crimes, knowledge gleaned from the analysis of sets of similar cases, and knowledge gathered from clinical research and practice. Profiling can be a valuable tool in understanding and catching criminals, but profiling is not without its limitations. One approach to profiling involves behavioral investigative advisors, who evaluate the actions of unknown offenders from a behavioral science perspective. For more information on this, please see our previous video, which will be linked down below. A behavioral investigative advisor might be requested if traditional investigative techniques have not produced a suspect. Profiling is never used as the sole investigative tool, rather an aid to focus the investigation. For particularly serious crimes, such as rape and murder, especially when there is public media attention, there is a pressure to get a result, which means it is important to identify psychopathology, and when an offence is of a series, to maintain case linkage. They assess crime scene behaviour, offence linkage, predictive profiling, and prioritisation matrices to assist investigations. For example, wounds can tell where the attacker was standing, for example in front or behind the victim, also the height, strength, time of day, and so on. Case linkage is a crucial aspect of profiling. Case linkage is the process of identifying a series of crimes, such as sexual homicides, that can be attributed to a single offender. Why is this so important? Identifying a series of crimes committed by one offender can lead to incredibly productive investigative strategies, as suggested by Grubin et al. In 2001. When you can link evidence from one crime scene to another, it provides valuable insights into the offender's behaviour. The crime scene overlaps often revolve around 4 main behavioural domains: control, sexual behaviour, escape or the prevention thereof, and personal style. By analysing how these elements overlap between different crime scenes, investigators can build a more comprehensive profile of the perpetrator. Furthermore, case linkage allows for a community risk assessment. When the public is aware that a series of crimes is the work of only a single individual, it can inspire confidence and make people feel safer. On the other hand, not linking cases properly can lead to mistaken attribution, which will raise public anxiety. Case linkage also plays a crucial role in understanding the relationship between offender fantasies and behaviours. By deciphering this connection, it becomes possible to develop more effective treatment programs, ultimately contributing to the rehabilitation of offenders. In many investigations, DNA or fingerprints are considered the most reliable links between sexual homicide offences. However, in cases where the physical links are absent, investigators turn to behavioural measures for insight. These behavioural measures are grouped into 5 categories. Physical characteristics, such as even the tying of knots, can give information on whether the offender was left or right-handed, or drag marks, which can show whether the offender was strong or weak. Cognitions and lifestyle factors. for example, including the area where the crime occurred. If there is a broad geographical location for the series of crimes, this shows the suspect has good knowledge of the area. Personality characteristics. Like the presence of anger issues, these can be seen in repeated stab wounds rather than just having one wound. Pre- and post-offence behaviour. For example, whether the scene was tidied up after the crime. And lastly, criminal history. Now let's explore the concept of modus operandi, or MO. This refers to an offender's way of performing a crime. It's important to note that MO involves using the same technique repeatedly across different offences, although the technique may become more skilled over time at a particular crime. We will now examine Lucy Letby's modus operandi, or MO. Lucy Letby utilised similar methods of performing her crime. She would target newborns, with almost all being attacked at night, typically shortly after their parents had left. Letby's technique was to inject air intravenously, which she conducted more so than any other methods, with the jury of her trial even being told it was Letby's favourite method. Letby's victims were often the most vulnerable on the neonatal unit, and she appeared to target siblings, with 3 sets of twins and 1 set of triplets being victims. Letby would frequently search for her victims' parents online after the murders. As an offender becomes more skilled at committing crimes, their MO behaviours are likely to become more consistent between crimes as the offender learns and repeats effective behaviours. These behaviours may include the type of victim targeted, the weapon used, or the method of entry. Different MO behaviours across crimes may mean there are 2 different offenders, or the same offender's MO has evolved. For sexual homicide, MO has been divided into 3 categories, which were formed by Turvey in 1997. Firstly, finding and attacking a victim. Secondly, offender identity protection. And thirdly, escape from the scene. Hi everyone, I'm coming to you later on from the editing stage. This video turned out to be extremely long, so I've actually split it into 3 parts. So if you're enjoying this, please do head over and check out the next video, part 2 on this, and there will also be a part 3. In next week's video, we'll pick up where we've left off and we'll start covering a bit more information on an offender's signature behaviour, more information on profiling, and we'll also look at how countries and cultures differ in their profiling approach. See you for part 2.